Well, welcome to this special edition of Hannity, Law and Order in America. I'm Jason Chaffetz, in tonight for Sean. As liberal cities across America struggle to maintain order, President Trump is vowing to protect the American dream for all citizens at all costs. Watch this.
We're a nation committed to equal and abundant opportunity for citizens of every race, color, religion, and creed. The American dream is the sacred birthright of every American child. And that's what we have, is we have the American dream. And nobody's going to shatter the American dream, not the anarchists, not the agitators, not the fools, not the looters. They're not going to have any impact on the national dream like no other. That's why we're here today, to ensure that every citizen can achieve their dream, achieve their destiny, and realize their full and extraordinary potential.
Sadly, local law enforcement is now becoming a federal issue. Too often, liberal mayors and governors fail their constituents. We see it in New York, as Bill de Blasio's soft-on-crime policies have led to a major increase in violence. And we see it in Los Angeles, where the police budget has been slashed, in part because of the demands from protesters like these. Watch this.
Los Angeles is the home of the most murderous law enforcement offices in the country. So it's important, as we say things like, I see your sign, Donald Trump, yeah, Donald Trump, that we remember that we live in a city that is largely liberal white supremacists.
So who will you call when they defund and dismantle police? We already know what happens in police-free zones: murder, rape, robbery, assault. We saw this play out in the CHOP zone in Seattle, where 2 teenagers were killed. Now, last night on this show, Sean Hannity was able to talk to the father of one of those victims, and he spoke out. Watch this.
When I went to the hospital, there was no detectives there. There was nobody there, no media there. There was nothing. He was nobody. He was just like, we was just there, and we just sat there, and I said, man, why are we sitting here? There's nobody else here. It's like they didn't care. It didn't matter. I haven't heard from the mayor. I haven't heard from the police department. I haven't from no city and nobody. All I know is my son he got killed up there, and he's just a 19-year-old. No, that's Horace Lorenzo Anderson. That's my son, you know, and I loved him.
It was a powerful interview. Mr. Anderson has now spoken to President Trump, and the mayor of Seattle also finally reached out. But what happened in Mayor Durkan's city was totally unacceptable. It was a tragedy. It was a failure of leadership, and all must be held accountable. Joining us now is Fox News contributor Dan Bongino, New York Congressman Lee Zeldin, and Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Dan, I want to start with you. You've been in law enforcement. You saw that interview. And what happened in Seattle, it didn't have to happen. This was a choice that some of the leaders in the state of Washington made, and they made a deadly decision.
Listen, that interview was devastating. There's not a sane person anywhere in America who watched that and didn't grab a Kleenex and put it near their eye. That interview was devastating to watch. And as I said last night, and I'll repeat again, anyone who's worn the uniform, including the officer here with us tonight, I'm sure can attest to this. If you've ever sat across the line from police tape at a murder scene where there's a young man or young woman, sadly, who's lost their life, every single parent comes up and says the exact same thing. They say, that's my baby, that's my son, or that's my daughter, before they collapse. Listen to me, Jason. People are dying because of decisions made by radical leftists to put people in power who are subsequently making decisions that are getting people killed. Killed, not figuratively killed, literally killed. We can lose fights about taxes. We can lose fights about regulations. We can lose those and fight another day. If you are killed or someone in your family is killed, there is no tomorrow. That tomorrow and all of your tomorrows are gone. This is an absolute disgrace. These are American citizens. They deserve better than this crap that's been shoved down their throat.
Now, Congressman Zeldin, you're out. You represent part of Long Island, but in New York City, a short drive from where you are, you have one of the worst mayors in the country in Bill de Blasio. It used to be a place that was family-friendly, it was business-friendly, but not anymore.
Yeah, very recently, too. And we've seen over the course of the last few months this deterioration going on in New York City where all sorts of crime rates are going up. Remember, this year started with the implementation of cashless bail. You could rob a bank in New York City, be detained, be released that same day, look up at the sky with a big smile on your face. You can't believe that you're free, and then go out and rob another bank. And by the way, that's not some hypothetical that actually happened. Fast forward to now, where you have the mayor signing off on this movement to defund the police and New York City council members signing off on this movement. The average person who lives in New York City wants safety and security. They want law and order. They want their city to be free and to prosper and to have opportunity. They want their kids to be able to grow there. And people who live in the area want to be able to go visit and enjoy the city. And everything is going in the wrong direction. The mayor needs to resign. And this city, similarly to when David Dinkins left and Rudy Giuliani came in the early 90s, you need someone else to come in and respect our cops, respect our law and order, and to give the city an opportunity to flourish once again.
Now, I'm thrilled that we have the Los Angeles County Sheriff. Sheriff, I really do appreciate you being able to join us tonight. You're on the receiving end of the Los Angeles County supervisors slashing your budget some $145 million. You have this supervisor, Catherine Barger, who has the nerve to say that she loves law enforcement. She supports law enforcement. You go to her website and she's talking about the kids of Los Angeles County. But based on what she and the other supervisors have done, they have slashed your budget. What is going to happen in Los Angeles County?
Well, the $145 million, that was just the last shot that they took at law enforcement and public safety. They already cut $400 million from our budget. It cost $3.9 billion to run the department. They gave us $3.5 billion. And then, oh, by the way, now it's $3.3 billion. So the number keeps dropping. However, the needs to provide public safety continue to rise. Crime hasn't gone away because people don't like law enforcement. We still have to answer. And the one thing they cannot bring to their mouth, they cannot even mouth the word victim of crime. No one is listening to victims of crime or law-abiding citizens. For some reason, all of a sudden that's unpopular to speak up on behalf of victims, but I will. I'm going to support the hardworking men and women who are part of the community. We're not some outside occupying force. We didn't wake up one day and all of a sudden we're racist and we're not part of the community. We are part of the community, working with the community, for the community, and we need to be present.
Now, Sheriff, what are you going to have to cut? I mean, you're going to have to cut. If you're cutting out hundreds of millions of dollars, what are you going to have to sacrifice?
Well, the Board of Supervisors, through the CEO, they recommended cutting Special Victim Bureau, our Narcotics Bureau, our Major Crimes Bureau that does organized crime, the human trafficking, all these different entities. At the minimum, we're going to have to curtail them, which means cases are not going to be investigated or we're going to pile on to other people. They're going to have a bigger and bigger workload, which means the bad guys are still going to be out there victimizing other people. Our fraud and cybercrime unit, they investigate fiduciary elderly abuse. And that is a huge growing crime sector. However, they don't want to provide the funds to address that. So there is no easy cuts. It's going to hurt the public in some way, no matter how we slice or dice it.
Now, Dan, the Democrats don't speak out against this. They go out and they say they want to cut ICE. They want to defund the police. I don't see Joe Biden pushing back on this. And I see the AOCs of the world saying, you know what, we haven't gone far enough.
Yeah, Jason, the swamp Democrats gave up on America a long time ago. Listen, I'm really sorry. That may hurt a lot of you out there in the country to hear. I'm not talking about the voting Democrats. There are a lot of good people out there who disagree with me, but they vote Democrat, but they still love the country. That's not the people up on Capitol Hill. They don't give a damn about our national security. They don't give a damn about your personal security or city security either. The defund the police movement, which again, I'll be fair, which the Democrats aren't as. Joe Biden said he's not for this. I'm not much sure I take him at his word at this point, but he said it, so to be fair. But AOC and the radical wing doesn't care. And as the sheriff just said, can you imagine all these special victim units? Jason, do you know the experience, as the sheriff can attest to, that'll be lost? All these special victim units, these officers for years who've been studying patterns of child abuse, now gone and wiped out? All gone because the Democrats thought this was a good idea.
Crazy. Congressman Zeldin, I'll give you the last word. I've just got about 20 seconds.
This is a warning shot. You see what's happening in New York City or what's happening in the state capitol in New York or in Chicago or Baltimore or Atlanta or in California and LA. This is what one-party rule is going to look like in Washington if we allow the Democrats to run the table this November. That we're battling for the soul of our country, for our freedoms, our liberties, our flag, everything that makes our country great, to be the best version of ourselves. As a nation, we can't take anything for granted. Losing isn't an option. We have to get out and vote. Take it as a warning shot of what our country would look like in January if we don't fight hard for it right now.
Dan, Sheriff Villanueva, and Congressman Zeldin, thank you so much for joining us here this Thursday night. We do appreciate it. So thank you.